Welcome to the Disney Parks Podcast with your hosts, Tony Casanova from DisneyByTheNumbers.com and Krista Joy from DisneyWays.com. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast at all times. And get ready for the Disney Parks Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have an interview with one of our favorite friends, Kristen Hoetzel-Go, who is an author, a Disney food blogger, a podcaster, a travel agent, and probably other hats that we're not even listing here. Kristen is the author of a new book called The Epcot Dining Guide, chock full of good information, which we'll get into. She is also a blogger at Dining at Disney and Cooking with Mickey. She is also the host on two podcast shows, WDW After Dark and the WDW Tiki Room, and probably other things that we're not even listing there either. So, Kristen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe the next time we can get your husband.
Maybe. We have to like try and locate him first.
Gotta like separate the pack. All right, so let's start with a question I'd like to ask everybody. So, how did you become a Disney fan? Why are you a Disney fan? How did this passion for Disney all start?
Well, I was not one of the kids that parents took them to Disney growing up. I grew up in northern Ohio, so it was near Cedar Point and Geauga Lake, which is no longer there, and there was SeaWorld, which again, no longer there. But I grew up going to those kinds of parks, and my mom always took my sister and I to see all of the Disney movies in the theater, which at the time were re-releases of things like Bambi and Cinderella and all of those movies because, 70s and 80s, there weren't really many Disney movies being made. So grew up watching all those. But what really made me fall in love with Disney was in 91, I took a high school trip to Walt Disney World. I was in the band and we were playing the Orange Bowl. So on the way down, we spent 3 days at Disney, 1 day at each of the parks. At that time, of course, it's before Animal Kingdom. And for the moment I walked into the park, I was like, oh my gosh, I just was so in awe because to me, a theme park was, what you see it at a Cedar Point. There isn't that theming that you have at Walt Disney World. And from that moment on, I was hooked on Disney.
So you're kind of coming to the game a little bit late. I mean, 91, that's like 3 parks into it already, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and you're kind of at a high school, right? This was high school age?
Yeah, I was in high school.
Yeah. So even at that age, you just fell in love with it.
Oh yeah, instant. Yeah. I was sold.
Yeah. So what makes you keep coming back now? I mean, now as an adult, and I know you and Aljon come quite often. So what makes you keep coming back to the crazy place?
It's just so much fun. Life is full of stresses and adult responsibility, and you go to Disney and none of that exists while you're there. It's all gone. You're there, you're having fun. You can, dress in a costume and you don't look silly. You can wear mouse ears and act goofy and do all kinds of fun things that if you do that in the real world, people are going to look at you like you escaped the mental hospital,
Yeah. I know even wearing like my Disney shirts up north in New Jersey, people are like, really? Where's that? In Florida? You can go there? And if at Christmas time I had this shirt that lit up. It was, Mickey that lit up. It was one of those light up Mickey shirts. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah. And I was wearing that around and people were really, thinking I was crazy. I think there were guys following me in a white coat for a while. All right, so let me ask that. A fan of Walt Disney World or Disneyland?
I'm a fan of both.
Okay.
Yeah, fan of both.
All right. Do you like one more than the other for any reasons?
Oh, now see, that's such a difficult question because they are so different from each other. I mean, Disneyland, you literally you walk out the door of Disneyland right into the door of California Adventure. They're so close. I mean, it's probably, I would say it is a shorter walk from those two park gates than it is from the Magic Kingdom bus stop to the Magic Kingdom gates.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, so it's really hard to say, oh, I like one better than the other because they're so different from each other. I mean, if you really want to feel immersed in Disney, Walt Disney World is it. I mean, you stay on property, you can't see the outside world. I mean, it's larger than San Francisco, as far as square miles. So you go over to, say you're at a Disney California Adventure and you're in California Screaming, you can see the outside world, everything around Anaheim there. So it's two very different places.
Yeah, my latest comparison is Walt Disney World is like Vegas. You're there, you're immersed. It's all immersive theming. There are no clocks. There's no windows to the outside. You don't know what's happening in the news. You don't know. There's no newspaper delivered to your resort room. And that's for a reason. They don't want you to know what's going on outside. They don't want there to be outside distractions. It's, this immersive world you're in. Right?
Yeah, the only thing you're going to get from the outside world is ABC News.
Yeah.
If you turn it on. But there's a reason why when you turn your TV on, it's Stacy in the Disney must-dos.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they want you in that world. Yeah.
I miss old Stacy. I liked it when she was crazier.
Do you think she's overthinking it now as an adult, or?
No, I think Disney is taming her some. I mean, I don't think she chose that sweater that she's wearing in it that makes it obvious she's a short person. Because short people, you don't wear anything that emphasizes your shortness.
Yeah, probably bad style guide. We had her on the show recently. I'm sure you guys have too, right?
We have not.
No?
No.
Oh, you'll have to have her on.
Let's do that right now.
All right, so as busy as you are, you decided to put out this Epcot Dining Guide. Tell everybody, give us like a little short overview. What's the elevator pitch for the Epcot Dining Guide?
It has everything you need to plan dining at Epcot. So you've got the information about restaurants, from restaurant hours to location, specialty, food items, all that kind of stuff about the restaurants, quick service and table service. It has information if you're looking to try and eat healthy or you have special dietary needs. It has information on that in there. Beverage cards. There's even a drinking around the world kind of challenge towards the back of the book. It's got the specialty events that are going on. So stuff on planning and booking, anything you really need to know when it comes to dining at Epcot.
Yeah. Yeah, food is like an attraction at Walt Disney World. I think it is.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. I used to plan, when I used to live in New Jersey, I used to actually plan my trips around where I was going to eat. I
have done that before. Before I was an annual pass holder, and then probably the first year or so, it was always like plan around food. And for most people, you get in the habit of eating, you eat at a few places, you're like, oh, I love these places. And every trip you go back to the same one.
Right.
So at one point, and I think this was maybe 2007, I said to Aljon, I was like, we're going to, on our trips, because we may make them anywhere from 7 to 10 days. It's like, so we have to plan that we don't eat at more than 2 places that we've already been to. Everything else has to be new. Well, in about like a year and a half of trips, I knocked out every restaurant at Disney. So now it's go back to a place that we haven't been in a while, or now we go back to favorite place. Like every trip is Raglan Road. Can't not go to Raglan Road. And then, places that have either recently redid their menu or have, changed somehow, have a whole bunch of new menu items, and those have to make the list. But yeah, at one point it was every single trip, it was all new restaurants, which is really hard because you have that urge to eat at your favorite place. But
sure.
The more places you eat at, the more favorites you have on your list.
Yeah. Since living down here, I've kind of done that. I've kind of knocked out, almost everything. There's just a few places that I have not been. Victoria and Albert's being one, obviously. I just can't put on the coat.
You have to. You have to go to Victoria and Albert's.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to go before August.
What happens in August?
It comes off Tables in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah. I may have to go then.
We used, the first year we had Tables in Wonderland, we ate there, and we used the points from our Disney Rewards Visa to pay for it.
Oh my
So
God.
it was like, in a sense, it was like having a free meal.
Wow. That is a good idea, too. I think I have
it
some
is
points left.
so good. I wish I could afford to eat there more often, but...
Yeah.
And we did the wine pairing with it.
Wow.
Because you have to. They do a phenomenal job pairing those.
Will they get me a cab to get me home after all that wine? The other place I haven't tried, or I haven't been to, is Wolfgang Puck Downtown Disney, upstairs in the fine dining. I've eaten downstairs, I've eaten at the Express, but not upstairs. And Marrakesh over in Morocco. I think that's about it.
Okay, well, sometime when I come down and Aljon has to work, you and I can go eat there because I want to try it again. I was not a fan of my first visit, but I'm always willing to try something twice. And then if both times I'm unhappy, then that's one thing. But I want to try it again. Aljon refuses to.
Yeah. See, I've heard good and bad about it, and I keep hearing mixed reviews, so I think that's why I've kind of been hesitant. I'm like, I really don't want a bad experience. So, but yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Have you done Shula's over at Dolphin?
No, and I hope to remedy that in September when they have that magical dining.
Oh, that's right, because they add that to the list normally, don't they?
Yeah, we ate at a lot of the Swan and Dolphin places last September. So I was able to knock a lot of those off the list. And the other restaurants that, I guess you still have to consider in Disney, some of the ones over on Bonnet Creek at the Waldorf, the Wyndham, and what's that, a Hilton? Yeah, Hilton. I have not been to some of those either.
I haven't ever even been into those resorts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to because I've kept up with the different events and stuff that they do over there. Their little special dining events. And it always sounds like it's an amazing place to go to. And it's one of those things that I just don't think of it till we're driving by. And normally we're driving by to head somewhere to meet someone. And you can't go, hey, by the way, I think I'm going to be about an hour late meeting you. So just stand there and wait for me.
I'm stopping by La Lucci over at the Hilton to have a little dinner. That's where we ate there. It's an Italian place in the Hilton. And I think we ate over at the Waldorf, too, in September. So hoping to fix some of those. And the other place, is coming online, is the Four Seasons. I think that's going to be my new favorite place to go.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. The restaurant on the top is going to be an e-ticket place to eat because from what I hear from the manager who was on our show, is you'll be able to see almost all fireworks from up there. You'll be able to see Magic
Really?
Kingdom. Yeah. You'll be able to see Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and if the studios does them, you'll be able to see studio fireworks as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be and from what I hear is the balcony area itself is really not big. So it's going to be a big e-ticket place to try and get to. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to stop everybody from going there. We'll see what happens. We're having the chef on, actually, the podcast, I think the end of this month. The executive chef that's going to talk about all the dining experiences.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to that, Kristen.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so this book, who would you say this book is for? Is this for, a crazy local like myself, or is this for a first-timer, or, the annual pass holder? Who would you say you should definitely go out and get besides everybody, but who is this? Did you have an audience in mind, or?
I didn't. I wanted to make sure that I had as much information in there that would be new to, of course, it's all going to be new to the first timer, but also information that if you've been many times, say you're an annual pass holder, that even you would find value in this book and helpful information.
Well, it's thumbing through it, and I did find some tips and things that I was like, did not know that. I know a question that I get asked a lot is, hey, Tony, how do I have a sit-down dinner at Disney on some kind of budget? A lot of people believe that a lot of the sit-down restaurants can be expensive. And yeah, some of them are, like California Grill, Victorian Albert's, the Wave, and, some of those places can be expensive. But can you, Kristen, do you think, have a sit-down meal on a budget?
Oh, definitely. I think you just have to, first of all, you can't, it's harder if you're a picky person because then that really limits what you can eat. But if anything's a go, you can definitely find a way to eat. You could, what would actually be an interesting thing to do would be do a challenge, kind of like Rachel Ray did that $40 a day.
Right.
And I should do that. Do a $40 a day at each of the parks. Because I bet you could easily, well, over at Magic Kingdom, you go over to Plaza Inn, and that's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, that's like quick service.
For table service,
Yeah. I call that quick service with seats.
Yeah, because it is. It's quick service prices.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one thing is, some of the places have huge plates of food, and you can share them.
It's interesting you're saying $40 a day. So my niece and nephew just came down here with their school for band. They were given a $5 voucher for breakfast.
Wow, that's a cinnamon bun.
So I said,
see, that's a big cinnamon bun. And it's what, $4.69, I think, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, people.
So I said,
but I want to say it's like that much.
Yeah, so I asked them, I said, so what did you get? And they said, well, we got a bottle of water and a banana. That was breakfast. And I think the school had said to the parents, we have breakfast covered, with the $5 voucher, and then just give them $10 for lunch and dinner.
Apparently those people had never been to Disney before.
That's what I said to my sister. I said, who gave you that information? Oh, the school had it written up on the thing. Blah, blah, blah. I said, no. I said, and you didn't call your brother who lives down here, who would have told you, give the kids more than $10, otherwise they're going to starve. So I wound up taking them out for dinner and lunch every day so that they could actually eat.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they had an uncle in town, huh?
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, they would have been definitely in trouble. I don't know what the other kids were doing. They probably went home hungry. Yeah.
Okay, so warm cinnamon roll, the Gaston's one, which is, a good-sized cinnamon roll, $3.99. So see, what you could do then is you get your cinnamon roll, under $5, ask for a cup of water, and then take your Starbucks Via, and you got your coffee and your cinnamon roll for breakfast for less than $5 there.
Yeah. We should try that. We should definitely do that. Like, do like $30. Try like $30 a day, $40 a day, $50 a day, and then see what you can eat.
Let's do that the next time.
At different places.
Next time I'm there, let's do that.
Yeah. All right. Now we got something to do. Okay. The other question I get asked, and I never really know how to answer anybody because I never really use them. is the dining plan. People ask me, should I get it? Should I not get it? Does it work for me? Does it not work for me? I never bought into it. I thought that, well, first of all, my kids have very high-end palates. I have, I tell the story that we went to California Grill one time, and this was back when they had like specials and things like that. And the waiter came to the table, and he was saying, "Hey, the special of the day is duck l'orange," and my 14-year-old daughter goes, "Oh yeah, I'll have that." So we ended up ordering the special at California Grill. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to cost me like a mint, to get duck l'orange. And then the waiter comes halfway through and he's like, "Hey, the special dessert tonight is, a chocolate souffle." She's like, "Oh yeah, we'll have that." So like that dinner cost me, like $300, and there was 3 of us, and one kid ate a kid's meal. Because my daughter, has this very high-end palate. I never bought into the dining plan because I felt like I'd always have to use 2 credits, and then I'd be paying money anyway just to, use the dining plan. So what do you think, Kristen? How do you make best use of a dining plan? Are they for everybody? What's your thinking?
It really depends on how your family eats. So if you had contacted me and said, that's how your family eats, your kids like to eat, they're adventurous eaters.
Right,
they're you've got a teenager. She is going to want the expensive food.
Yep.
Deluxe dining plan then, because you have your 3 credits and per night, and that means you're using 2 of those credits just for your dinner. So it leaves a lunch that you could do table service, or that you could do quick service, or you could do breakfast.
Right.
So that way, and if you're eating at this place and you're ordering the most expensive, I have found, at least for Aljon and I, when we have done it, places like Narcoossee's where it's $70 for surf and turf. Yeah, we got our money out of Disney on those trips. We saved one trip. I think it was like almost $600 when we did the deluxe dining plan that we had saved. We would have been paying that much more if we hadn't had it, because you get your appetizer, your entree, and your dessert. I think if your family likes to do one table service meal, and your kids can sit there for that amount of time, and you're not doing, I don't recommend, if you're a buffet family, I wouldn't recommend doing the dining plan, because the buffets, often you're not getting the biggest bang for your buck, because many a times they're 20s into the 30s.
Yeah.
So it really depends what restaurants you're looking at and your style of eating. Like if you're going to use a table service credit on Plaza Inn, that's a waste of a credit. You ended up spending more on your meal than you would have paid out of pocket. So
right. Yeah. So another, I guess the way I think is, if they're giving away the Disney dining plan, a lot of times Disney will say, all right, the dining plan is free if you stay at these resorts between these dates. Do you think that those people are paying a higher rate for their guest room in order to get the Disney dining for free?
Well, they're paying rack rate, so that's a non-discounted rate on the room. Anytime I have booked somebody who is traveling during free dining and wants to have the dining plan, but they're staying at a deluxe, I always book them a room only, get the discount for the room, and then add on the tickets in the dining plan, because the room cost is so much higher at the deluxe resorts that that's the cheaper route to go. And I just tell them, like, okay, I booked it this way because if I did it the way you want it, you would have spent this much more.
Do they give away the dining plan if you stay at moderate or values?
Moderates, it is the same dining plan as the deluxe, and then if you stay at a value, you get quick service. Okay. But you can upgrade that to either the basic or the deluxe.
Okay. I was going to say, just because I'm staying in a cheap seat doesn't mean I want to eat cheap food.
No. The other thing, I liked it better when they did not have the quick service plan, and that if you stayed at a value, you got the basic dining plan.
Mm. And there's 4 different dining plans now, if I'm not...
5.
5? So what?
Yeah, 'cause you have quick service, you have the basic, you have the deluxe, the premium, and the platinum.
Oh my God.
And the premium platinum, those 2 you can only get if you're staying at a deluxe resort.
And what do the premium and platinum now include?
Oh my gosh.
Chef table?
It should, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same food plan as the deluxe.
Right.
Both of them are. And then it's like one of them you can get a spa treatment. You can get...
I can't eat a spa treatment, can I?
No, you can't eat a spa treatment. Well, maybe you could, but I really wouldn't recommend trying to eat any of that stuff. I don't think it would taste all that good. But it includes all of the on-site recreation.
Oh, really?
There's tours for Platinum. It includes like the Family Magic Tour and Keys to the Kingdom.
Wow.
You get a fireworks cruise. There's a Richard Petty driving experience is included in that.
Wow.
You can go up in the character and flight hot air balloon.
Yeah.
But all of those things are included. But, you're paying $249
Per person per day?
per person per night for the adult for that. So that's made for somebody who wants the ultimate Disney vacation, and money is not
an object.
Yeah.
Or a problem. Now I have a friend.
If you win the lottery, that's how you want to spend it.
Yeah, that's my plan then. I was excited. Oh, I have friends that come down, and I guess they don't use really a lot of their snack credits. And what they do is they save all their snack credits for the day that they happen to drive home, drive to and from. And they save all their snack credits, and they get all snacks and water. And then they drive home with all the snacks that they saved throughout their vacation as snacks in the car for the drive home.
We've done that.
Yeah.
We've also we often get the dining plan during food and wine, which is a good and a bad thing because you can use all of your snack credits on the items that are like $7-8.
Right.
So that's awesome. That's a steal from Disney on those. But we always end up with too many counter service meals left because we can't eat that much food. Because you have the days that you do Epcot, and you're like, why am I going to eat on those days? Because I'm just going to snack around the world the entire time. But we typically end up, on those trips, we're normally driving. And we'll use the leftover counter service credits and go over to Wolfgang Puck's and Earl's Sandwich and use the quick service credits for food to eat on the way home.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So is there, in your book, do you have like a calculator or something that I can say, how to figure out if I should do a dining plan or not?
I do not have that in the book. I have found many times, because I've seen them on a few different sites and things like that over the years, and I found them to be difficult to use.
Yeah, me too.
Because there's so much that goes into it. You have to really think about, when Aljon and I were planning using those in the past, what we would do is look at the menus and go, where do we want to eat? What do we want to eat? And then go from there and go, okay, well, if we're eating at this restaurant, we're going to want this. And then we would just kind of add it all up and see, okay, this would cost us about this much. Okay, that looks like it'll save us X number of dollars. Let's do it this trip. And that's how I recommend to people to figure out whether it's for them or not for them. To look at the menus, see where you'd want to eat, what you'd want to eat. And if every place you're looking at, it's $18 to $21, then that's not the best way for your family to travel at that point. Go out of pocket.
I know you have a chapter on all the Epcot quick service. Do you have a favorite quick service at Epcot?
Wow, one of them would have to be Sunshine Seasons. They have such a wide variety of food, and the food is good. And there's something for everyone. So if you're with a picky eater, it's a good place because they've got stuff for the picky eater. And then, like one of the things that they have is a salad that has roasted red beets and goat cheese. Well, that's not something a picky eater is going to eat, but your adventurous eater might. So that gives them, everybody in the family, something that they're going to enjoy. So that's one of my favorite places. The food's always good.
Yeah, that is a good place. I also like the Kasher Grill over in Japan. That little quick service place there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good, too.
Yeah, it's not hand-rolled California Grill sushi, but if you want sushi and you're in Epcot and you don't want to go to a sit-down dinner, that's a good place to get some sushi. So I like that. They have some other good things there. They have miso soup usually, or another soup. Some of the salads are good there. It's just an interesting place. And the dining outside, if it's not, August, is typically pretty nice. It's pretty scenic.
Yeah, it is. And the thing about that place is it's kind of hidden up at the top.
Right.
And most people, I don't know if they just think it's a building, but a lot of people don't ever go up there and eat. I've been in there and seen like 2 people up there eating, and that's been it.
Yeah, it is it's kind of tucked away.
Yeah.
Shh, we won't tell anybody.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, your favorite table service in Epcot?
Oh, my. Now, see, that's a hard one.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, I love Beer Garden. I love Via Napoli. I mean, those are probably my 2 favorites. I don't think I can pick one over the other. Beer Garden over the past few years, Chef Jens Dolman, who's the executive chef over there, has done an amazing job of helping elevate the food at Epcot over the past few years. And that restaurant, him and the executive chef there have worked on really making that, the menu there really good. It started a few years ago, I thought, going downhill a little bit, and I didn't go for a couple of years. And then I want to say it was like maybe a year or 2 years ago, he redid the menu and they added some new stuff and went back, and now it's amazing.
Yeah. I would say my favorite place is definitely Via Napoli, hands down. And Mexico, either one over at Mexico, I do enjoy as well.
I like La Hacienda. The first time I ate there, I actually, Alton and I were sitting next to the owner.
Oh, wow.
And a couple of times he was like, oh, do this with the food. And I said to Alton, I was like, I think he's the owner. Just because of some of the things that he was saying and the way that people were treating him. And we ended up being correct that it was Ricky Debler who owns all of those properties in Mexico.
Yeah. There's a rumor going around that when Disney Springs, gets done, there's going to be another restaurant that's owned by the same guys over at Via Napoli. I think it's something with a P,
Patina.
Yeah, Patina Group. And they also have a restaurant in Rockefeller Center. If you're ever in Rockefeller Center and you're in the skating rink, down on the skating rink level, they have a restaurant there as well.
Yeah, they actually have several restaurants. The 2 Italian restaurants that are also in downtown Disney and Anaheim, both of those are owned by them as well.
That's right. But
I don't think they're as good as Via Napoli or Tutto. I love Via Napoli. It opened up just a few months after I came back from being in Italy. And I was like, oh my God, this pizza, it's exactly like what I had there. And so that immediately made it a hit with me, was that the food just like took me back to being in Italy. And I was like, okay, I'm sold.
I wish that they would have that pizza window open all the time. I mean, it's, I was over there the other day, and I stopped at Guest Relations by the International Gateway, and I said, can you tell me, like, the schedule for that pizza window? So she's looking through her stuff, and she's like, all right, hold on. She picks up the phone, she calls over to the restaurant, she goes, when's the pizza window open? And they're like, whenever we need it to be. It's not on a schedule. It's, if we have somebody to man it, if we have somebody in the kitchen that can cook for it, and we think that we're too busy that we can't get everybody in the restaurant, then we open up the pizza window so we could at least feed more people. So I said...
That's a shame that they don't have it running, because there is not a quick service location there.
I know. I agree. It's there would probably be a line there almost all the time if they had pizza.
I think so too.
If they had even a cart out front that had pizza, they would sell it all day long. People would just go by, give me a slice, give me a pepperoni, and walk there, keep on walking. They could do it all day long. It's a shame. Just to give a little sidetrack, we went over, me and Krista went over to France and got like a little backstage look at all the, how they cook and make all their food over in France.
Yeah.
And there's one guy, this guy Eric, and he runs the entire operation of France. So all the beverage carts out front, he does the food and wine. So, when they have all the special events, the Paris breakfast and all that.
Yeah.
He does all that. He runs Monsieur Paul, the restaurant downstairs with what's that name?
Yeah.
Chef de Paris. The ice cream shop, all that ice cream, 16 flavors are made by hand right there in that little booth. All the ice cream is made and frozen. And he runs the little quick service in the back as well. And
wow.
all of that food is made from scratch.
Yeah.
They don't buy anything. All the bread, even the rolls upstairs are made in, the back in the bakery. They got a two-story bakery in the back. They have an awesome operation. That's another place I have not been to, Monsieur Paul's. I just haven't had, I can never seem to get a reservation is my problem. So,
okay, we should do that when I'm there next.
Have you been to that one? No?
I haven't been since it was Bistro de Paris.
Oh. Well, we got two things to do. We did favorite table service. All right, so what would you give as, say a good food tip for first-time person coming to Walt Disney World? What would be to Epcot? They have your dining guide. What would be some good tips that you'd give somebody, Kristen?
I think one of the biggest tips is before you arrive, look at the menus. Because once you get there, if you are trying to figure all that out, it's just overwhelming how many restaurant locations there are. And so I think one of the best things is to plan that out. And if you're going to do a table service, get your reservations. Because especially at Epcot, often you're going to get there day of and nothing's available.
Yeah, I would say reservations are number one. And my tip is always, if you can, get tables in Wonderland. Because I think it's worth it. At least it is for people that come back, time and time again.
However, if it's your first trip, though, you're not going to be able to get tables in Wonderland.
That's true.
Unless DVC immediately sells you, like, day one.
Yeah.
You need to be DVC, and you're sold on it, and then you can go, oh, okay, now I'm going to buy my tables in Wonderland card.
Right. Because I tell people I use that card probably more than my debit card.
Oh, I can believe it.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see how much money you save in a year using them.
No. Because there's the other side of that. It's how much money
Then you know
spent.
how much you spend.
Listen, I try not to look, when I'm doing my Quicken thing, I try not to look at anything. Everything goes into this bucket. I just call it Disney. And I don't ever look in there. I don't want to know what that number is. I'd probably stop going to the parks,
But think every time you go and you dine at a resort, you're also saving $14, $15 right there on your valet.
Oh, it's $20 now, Kristen.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's $20 to valet park now.
Geez, see what happens when I'm not there in like 3 months.
Yeah. All the parking went up. All the parks are now 17.
Yeah, I knew that went up, but I didn't see anything about the valet going up to 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, valet went up to $20. Yeah.
So look, all you need to do is valet your car 5 times and you break even.
That's it.
That's easy enough to do.
For me, it's very easy. Listen, my friends down here call me Mr. Valet.
I can believe that.
I don't park my car unless I have to. Just the other day, I was where did I park? Oh, I actually parked in the Epcot parking lot, and I hadn't been there in months. I didn't even know it existed. Oh, this is where everybody else parks.
Oh, now see, whenever I go to park in the parks, we are always the people that get the end of the row. I'm like, how is it that we always end up at the far end?
That's me. And I usually leave. You know, I'll go past. I'll say, never mind, I'm leaving. And I'll just go park like at the back of the lot, and I'll wait, 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll get back in line so I'm not at the end.
I tried to do that once, and I had a cast member start yelling at me.
I don't care what they do.
And it's when I actually had knee braces on, and I said to them, I was like, I have problems with my knees. I cannot walk from the end of the park, like the end of this parking lot, all the way up to the tram. Mm-hmm. And the guy was not nice. I'm like, apparently he's having a bad day.
I don't listen to them. Don't care what you're saying. I'm leaving. Listen, an emergency happened. I don't know. All right, back on track here. Last question. So, what would you give a tip for some crazy guy like me that lives down here or comes down 2-3 times a year? What would you give for an Epcot food tip for me?
Oh, let's see. Food tip for you. Wow, that's interesting, Tony.
I mean, a lot of times when you come down here, we are. You. I know. I was gonna say
that makes it harder because I'm like. My dining tip for you would be, since you've been as many times as you have and have dined as many places, is to do what I call a meal hop, where you go to one restaurant for an appetizer, then you go to a different restaurant for your entree, and then dessert at another place.
Oh, I like that. I've never done that.
That's what I would recommend for somebody like you that eats at Disney a couple times a week.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times when I do go back to, obviously I do go back to places repetitively. I do like to try different things on the menu, so I'm not always eating the same thing, over and over and over again. I did know that about you, and so that's why I couldn't say try something new. Yeah. I mean, hell, one time we even ordered pizza off the room service menu at the Bellevue Lounge, which I've never done before. When the bartender told me to do that, I was like, really?
The other thing that I would say is Epcot has special dining events in the evenings now, because you have your after-hours wind down and the dessert party. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing I would say. If you haven't done those, try them.
I did.
Whole new experience, and that's a great location to watch Illuminations from too.
Me and the Donahues did try the wind down over at Via Napoli, and the food is good. It wasn't Via Napoli; it was
Tutto Gusto.
Tutto Gusto, and the food was great. Don't get me wrong. But the portion size was small, and the wine pour, was also small. And for $30, I'm like, I could have had a sit-down meal for $30. I felt like, well, that wasn't really a lot of food and drink for $30.
That's the one thing that I was wondering about, was the portions, what the portion sizes were going to be for that.
Yeah, it's just a small, appetizer plate. It's a sampling of some meats or cheeses, or meats and cheeses, or meats, cheeses, and breadsticks, or, I don't know. It just didn't, for $30, I just didn't feel like that was an awesome value. Now, you do get to spend a couple extra hours in the park, and if that's what you want, that's great. If you don't want to sit on a crowded bus or crowded monorail, or crowded boat or train or plane to get out of the park at 9 o'clock when the entire park dumps out to every transportation mode, then the extra time is probably worth the $30.
Or what you could do is schedule a late dining reservation.
Yep.
I mean, I've done that where you schedule something for 8:30. Some of the restaurants even have a 9 o'clock. Schedule it then, and then when you leave the park, it's completely empty.
I've done that. I've closed down Via Napoli numerous times. But I thought the interesting thing to try would be do the Illuminations dessert party and the wind down. So you're getting like a little private service over there, and then a little private service whichever restaurant you pick. That might be interesting to try, because then you're not kind of with the masses and the crowd. So you'll get your own little private Illuminations, and then 2 hours in the park with less people. And
you're kind of doing a meal in reverse too.
Right, exactly.
Start with dessert, end with your food. Not really entree,
not entree, but something that looks like
your tapas.
That was that's my thought there. And we are going. Well, I did tell you we are going to the Epcot Food and Wine preview.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I could be there for that.
Yeah, you should try and come down once. This is the second time I think they've had it now. It's only the second annual. So
I think so.
Yeah.
I knew that they did it last year and couldn't make it for that either.
Well, this year, I think they doubled the size. Last year was about 100 people. It was over at the Odyssey. And now it's 250, and it's over at World Showplace. So
I like that location for hosting events.
World Showplace?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice venue for that, and at least they're putting that large pavilion to use.
It was nice.
Did you see it when they originally created that for the Millennium Celebration?
No. I don't think I was there. I probably was in the park. I probably just didn't go. Maybe I did. I don't know. I can't remember being in it.
Yeah, they had different countries represented in there, and they had their food as well. It was like a little mini counter service in the back, and there was maybe 7 or 8 countries that you could get food from.
Interesting. There's a rumor going around that they're taking out the African outpost and putting in Brazil.
Huh.
That's the reaction I usually get from people when I say that. Or interesting.
Can you imagine?
Interesting.
The only problem with that location is, unfortunately, there's not enough depth right there for them to put anything in it. That's what's horrible about that location, is it's so shallow.
Yeah. Maybe they'll fix that.
Find something that they would do with that. It's still a wasteland.
Maybe they'll fix something. You never know.
It's a place to listen to a whole bunch of kids beat on drums.
Or get some beans and recycled bracelets out of park maps. If you're not sure what we're talking about, there's a cart over there that sells these bracelets and necklaces, I think. And what Disney does is they recycle the maps. They mash them up, and then they make these colored bracelets and necklaces, which are pretty funny. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pay $20 for a recycled map. Thanks. Can't I do this at home? Just put some maps in a blender with some water, mush them up, and make my own bracelet? All right, Kristen, I think we got a lot of info. So tell people where they can find you and where they can find your new book when it comes out, the Epcot Dining Guide.
Well, I'm going to have the dining guide for sale directly from the website. So if they go to diningatdisney.com, they will be able to get the book there. They can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, Instagram. All of them are Dining at Disney. Very simple, except for YouTube. It had to be the Dining at Disney.
I would definitely tell you, if you're into food, you're into Disney, you're into food at Disney, definitely go check out Kristen at her website, Dining at Disney, because she's got a lot of awesome, good posts. She takes some great pictures, and then she has great people that take great pictures. Go check it out. And then if you are going there, get the Epcot Dining Guide. So are we going to get more books? Are we going to get one for every park, one for every season and reason?
That is the plan, because previously I had the International Food and Wine, and then this past spring I did Flower and Garden. And I figured Epcot is going to be probably the biggest, like most information as far as restaurants. So that's why I started with that one. But I'll have all 4 parks, Downtown Disney, and then one for the resorts.
Yeah, I would hold off on Downtown Disney for a while.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there'll be some updates in there.
I have a feeling that book can wait a few years until that one is completely done.
Yeah. I'll let you all in on a secret. I was over near Portobello's and Fulton, and they had started replacing some of the pavement and putting in these new lampposts. And on the lampposts, it now says Disney Spring.
Really?
Yeah. If you're coming down and you want to go check out Disney Springs before it even opens, right in front of Fulton, there's 2 metal lampposts, and down at the bottom, they both say Disney Springs.
I hope it looks as much like the concept art as it can, because the concept art looks really cool.
I've been hoping that they, they have one of those big models like they did for Fantasyland. I wish they would put that over, get rid of the Fantasyland over One Man's Dream and put in the Downtown Disney model so we could really get a good look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'd like that.
Yeah. And you've seen the new Starbucks?
I've seen pictures, but I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Out front, they have like this, it almost looks like the old Chicago or Manhattan L. It almost looks like a train track.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be like where the second floor will be. So you can kind of get an idea of how high it'll be and where it's kind of going to be at in that area.
Wow.
So I guess when they were doing the construction of the Starbucks, they figured, well, while we're here, let's just put in this, this upper deck. This way we don't have to dig up the concrete again after the store's open. So they kind of, put up this half-baked thing. And everybody's like, hey, what are those train tracks up there?
Hey, but at least they thought ahead of time,
Yeah. So, actually, I was down there with Raphael. He had called me up when that had opened. We had gone down there for coffee.
It looks nice from what I've seen of the pictures.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice.
I'm ready for the food trucks to open, though.
I am too, as long as they have seats. If they have places to sit, I don't like to stand and eat my food. I don't know. It's a mental thing in my head.
Maybe we take picnic blankets.
Yeah, maybe. Or just go over to the Starbucks. They got plenty of seats.
Sure, Starbucks would love that.
Hey, I'll buy a cup of coffee if I have to sit. I don't mind that. All right, Kristen. Well, thanks for being on. Hopefully we can meet up soon. When are you coming down?
Definitely for the first weekend of Food and Wine.
Ooh.
Other than that, I haven't planned anything yet for this month or next, but you never know.
All right.
I'm feeling the need to have some Disney. It's been since the end of March, and I'm like, I need some Disney.
Just come down, do a long weekend, Labor Day weekend.
I wish it was a shorter drive, but then if it was, 2/3 of the drive that I make now, I would be there way more than I should.
Oh. Right.
But I would love to have a shorter drive to be there.
Hopefully we'll see you before then, but if not, we'll see you in September, right?
Sounds good.
The Disney Parks Podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. All Disney parks, attractions, lands, shows, event names, etc. are registered trademarks of the Walt Disney Company.
Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dream